Hi, 6th graders, welcome to the 12th of April lesson. Are you ready? If yes, let's start. Open your books. Page 62, here we start with reading and listening part. Here, let's zoom. First listen and match the photos to the paragraphs.
Track 6, page 62, exercise 2.
An astronaut's life. Imagine sitting in a rocket ready to take off. Excited? Actually, waiting is really boring. But then, wow! You travel faster than you ever thought possible. You go into orbit in 8.5 minutes. And it's the noisiest journey ever. You get a terrible headache, and you feel sicker than you've ever felt before. You can't eat for a few days until your stomach feels better being in space. Food isn't important in space anyway. It all tastes much worse than you can imagine. You can take lovely chocolate with you, but it tastes of nothing up there. However, you have the best view while you're eating. You can watch the sun rise 16 times a day. You can see everything more clearly up there. Our planet looks amazing. When you are in orbit, there is no gravity, of course. So you grow taller, which is nice. Except that there's little space in the space station. Everything floats, including you. You work a bit more slowly. Everything is harder to do. Going to bed is weird. You sleep much less comfortably. You have to stick your sleeping bag to a wall and stick your pillow to your head. If you go outside, you have to move a lot more carefully. Every step is so important that it can be stressful at times. But being in space in a spacesuit is the most amazing experience. However, the hardest thing of all is returning home. It can take weeks for your muscles to remember how to move on the earth.
Okay, after this listening, now what's happening in these photos, let's say them, how the astronauts feel. For photo number 1, 2 astronauts are spacewalking. Perhaps they are repairing the space station or setting up an experiment. They may be feeling nervous or excited. The work is difficult and needs a lot of concentration, so they'll be tired when they finish. In picture 2, the astronauts are going to sleep. They are tied to the wall in sleeping bags because they are weightless and so might float around the space station, crash into something and hurt themselves. They are probably feeling tired or sleepy. 3. The astronaut in picture 3, the astronaut may be looking out at the Earth or at the sunrise. She is feeling excited, perhaps surprised, because the Earth is so blue and beautiful, or this is the 10th sunrise she has seen today. And in picture 4, it's a takeoff. The astronauts are probably concentrating on the instruments and checking everything is going as it should. They are probably feeling a little nervous but also very excited about going into space, as you see the pictures here. And now read the text again and find words to describe these activities in space. For example, traveling, eating, working, sleeping, going outside. For traveling, we can say fast traveling, noisy traveling. For eating, feeling sick, bad taste of nothing. Working, more slowly than usual and hard work, we can say. Sleeping, it's weird and less comfortable. Going outside, you have to be careful. It is stressful and amazing experience. And the next activity is speaking part, and we did it in the lesson. Let's continue with the next page. Here there are comparative adverbs here. We complete the blanks with comparative adverbs. Adjective slow, adverb slowly, comparative adverb more slowly than. Here, this is the general rule. With adverbs ending in ly, we use more. For example, you travel faster than you ever thought possible. For the first part, there is a sentence here. We can find it in the text. You can see more clearly. And other short adverbs are the same as comparative. Let's look at them. Hard, harder, harder. Later, later, later. And fast, faster, faster. You feel sicker than. In the text you can find it. And also some comparative adverbs are irregular. The irregular ones, for example, good, bad, far. Comparative adverb form is good, better, bad, worse, far, further. You can look at the adverb and comparative adjective form also. The sentence from the text is, it all tastes worse. After that activity, we found the comparative adverbs in the text. With then, we will find then in the text. Let's have a look. In part A, the first sentence that we found, you travel faster than you ever thought possible. And again in A, you can underline, you feel sicker than you ever felt before. Another than here. And in reading part B, it all tastes much worse than you can imagine. As you see, another than here. And after, they ask us to find much, a lot and a bit with comparative adverbs in the text. Let's find much. In part B, it all tastes much worse than you can imagine. In C, we can say you sleep much less comfortably. A lot. In D, you have to move a lot more carefully. A bit. In C, again, you work a bit more slowly. These are all comparative adverbs. And after that, there is part 5a. Here we'll complete with the correct form of the brackets. 1. I'm worried about the exam. I think you need to study a bit harder. 2. Am I getting better at tennis? Yes, you are playing much better, because good is irregular. 1. 3. I don't understand any of this lesson. You have to listen carefully. This is adverb again. 4. Can we finish this in time? No, I think we need to work a lot faster. Comparative adverb. And 5. Why are you walking worse than normal? Because I've hurt my ankle. Yeah. Alright, after that we can listen and check.
Track 7, page 63, exercise 5. 1.
I'm worried about the exam. I think you need to study a bit harder.
2.
Am I getting better at tennis?
Yes, you're playing much better.
3.
I don't understand any of this lesson. You have to listen more carefully.
4.
Can we finish this in time?
No, I think we need to work a lot faster.
5.
Why are you walking worse than normal?
I've hurt my ankle.
Okay, now we can continue with the workbook later. Let's check speaking and writing part. In the lessons, you remember we did it. We made two groups. Group A were the journalists. Group B were the astronauts. You ask and answer the questions. We did it again, and we made some sentences about the article. We wrote our article here. Okay, now let's look at workbook. On workbook, open page 48 first. Here there is a table and we complete it with the adverb and comparative adverb forms. For example, adjective intelligent, adverb intelligently, comparative adverb more intelligently than. Quiet, adjective, adverb quietly, more quietly than its comparative adverb. Loud, loudly, louder than. Happy, happily, more happily than. Hard, harder than. Fast, faster than. Far, further than. Good, well, better than. Bad, badly, worse than. And in part 2, we write the correct comparative form of the verbs, adverbs. Let's see. He woke up a bit earlier than usual. 2. They walked a lot slower than the other people. 3. My sister sings louder than the other students. 4. She always works harder than him. 5. He ran faster than the other runners in the race. 6. I threw the ball a bit further than you. 7. We answered the quiz questions better than the other teams. 8. He went to bed much later than me. And in part 3, we look at the pictures and compare the astronauts. As you see, there are two astronauts, Tim and Jim. 1. Tim gets up earlier than Jim. 2. Tim walks faster than Jim. 3. Tim studies harder than Jim. 4. Tim passes exams more easily than Jim. 5. But Jim floats better than Tim. 6. And Tim feels sicker than Jim. Okay, turn the page. Here you can make true sentences about yourself. Sometimes it can be positive or negative forms. It's up to you. Or you can change the characters here. For example, it can be my brother. It's written here my brother, but you can write my sister or my mom. It's up to you, as I said. 1. I sing better than my brother. 2. I don't run faster than my friend. It's up to you. You can say I run or I don't. It's, as I said, it's up to you. 3. I sing more beautifully than my friend. 4. I don't get up earlier than my family. 5. I speak English more fluently than my sister. 6. I don't work harder than my classmates. Okay, for the reading and writing part, we complete the blanks with the words from the box, with the comparative adverbs in the box. And later we will listen and write the answers for the other part. Okay. Advice for astronauts. What do you need to know before you go into space? By Brendan Faust. I asked some astronauts for their views on what's important to remember when you are in space. You feel sicker because the blood and water in your body travel up to your head. You sleep worse if you don't take a tablet because the space station is so noisy and bright. You work longer because there is so much to do in the space station. You have to use water much more carefully because There is very little of it. You have to exercise at least 2 hours a day so that your body can get better more quickly when you return to Earth. So, it seems that life in space is very different to life on Earth. Do you fancy trying it? I'm not sure I do. It's difficult to sleep, it says. So, why is it difficult to sleep in space? Because it's really hard to sleep there. It's not comfortable. The space station is noisy and bright. Okay, and now listen to the interview and the astronauts compare it with the article. You can complete it is written here. For example, advice for astronauts, it's 3. What's 3? Let's check. 3 is headline. After 4, what do you need to know before you go into space? Is the second headline, or the strapline, number 4. 1 by Brandon Post, it's the name of the journalist. It continues like that. Now you can check it again.
Track 23, page 49, exercise 5.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for agreeing to the interview.
You're welcome.
So, I'd like to hear your top tips for living in space. What do you need to know?
Well, it's the simple things that are harder in space. Like, sleeping.
Yes, and washing. Really? Tell me more.
Well, there isn't much water in the space station. Every drop is precious. So you have to use it much more carefully. You don't wash your hair much.
And you don't use it for brushing your teeth either.
Why is sleeping difficult? Well, it's so noisy in the space station.
Yes, and you can't turn the lights off, so you can't fall asleep, even if you are tired.
So, if you don't take a sleeping tablet, you sleep much worse than at home.
Doesn't sound fun. What else do you need to be prepared for? The work. You have to work harder because the space station needs you all the time. But don't you get time off?
Of course, but then you need to exercise.
Yes, you have to exercise at least 2 hours a day.
2 hours? Yes, so that your body can get better more quickly when you're back on Earth. Well, that sounds the hardest work of all.
Yes, you listened and you found them in the boxes and you have written. Alright, see you next time. Have a nice day. Goodbye. See you.